So, in continuation of our Rocky reviews, we have come here. Uh, Probably for me the most polarizing film in the Rocky movies, because I haven't seen it in a while, and I was expecting it to be utter shit. Um, but surprisingly for myself, it had a pretty solid start. How it started, with Rocky shaking, and like he says that he says something about how Mick had the same thing, and he says that how sometimes when he fights or when he fought, that he couldn't shake this feeling or whatever, or fear. I don't know. There's so much of this movie that I just can't remember because of how utterly boring it is. Um, but like I said, it did have a solid start. Okay, I actually found that really interesting. So I like that, and also how it explores Rocky's fall financially, um, when him and his family lose all his money and all that stuff. I think that is a interesting idea, an interesting place to take Rocky back to the same place that he started at in the first film. But it's pretty much all downhill from there, especially when they introduce George Washington Duke, that guy. Man, he is so annoying. I really don't know anything about the actor, and I don't know if he is like that in other roles that he's been in. I've only seen this one actor in this one role, right? So I don't know anything about the guy. Um, but I just don't like him in this movie. I don't know if it's his performance or if it's just him in general or if it's just how they wrote the character. Whatever it is, I know I don't like it. And another character that could have been better, but overall just is kind of annoying. Almost as annoying as George Washington Duke, and it's the guy that Rocky trains. Can I just say this right now? Why in the hell does this guy deserve Apollo's uh, boxes? Like, Apollo gave those shorts to Rocky because they became really close. And in this movie, Rocky just meets the guy, and then like a couple scenes in, he gives him the shorts, like in this huge montage scene of one of the first and many montage scenes of their relationship in this movie. And I just got to say, their whole relationship and story in this movie together did not work for me. It was in a lot of areas really rushed, um, didn't feel earned, um, and if you're gonna give those shorts to anyone, give them to Adonis like he does in Creed. Don't give them to some freaking idiot. I have to say though, Sylvester Stallone does his best. I feel like this is the one movie in the franchise where the company who owns Rocky was like, we haven't released a Rocky movie in a few years. We better get on that. So let's release one. So it just didn't feel like there was much effort put into this movie as much as even four. Like I said in that review, and so did my dad, that one just wasn't as good as the others. But even that was good enough to sit down and watch. I soldiered through this. I was like, I got to get through this for the review. Here we are. I'm here to tell you guys I don't like it. It is the MI2 of the Rocky franchise. It is the Batman and Robin of the Rocky franchise. Um, what are some others? Oh, it's the Attack of the Clones of the Rocky franchise. Shall I keep going? It's the worst one. There's always a worst movie in a franchise. This is one of them. I just don't like it. But it does have some good points. With the beginning, which is what I talked about. But my dad has a couple favorite scenes and some other things to talk about, some nitpicks. So I'm going to let him go. And I'll see you guys in a little bit.
Hello again. Yeah, this movie was a real letdown, actually, for me. Wasn't worthy of the name of Rocky, really wasn't for me. I mean, my one nitpick is that, they went overseas. He fought the hardest fight of his life. He came back. His son was about 10 when he left, and when he came back, only over there for maybe 3 months at the most. He comes back, he's 14 years of age. That was just really poorly done. Um, there was one really good scene in there, two actually really good scenes in there. The one where Mickey was, after they'd sold the house, Rocky put all his old gear, jacket, hat, pants, jeans back on, and went back to the gym, and he was really, upset. He'd lost everything, materialistically anyway, and he was in a bad place, emotionally and mentally, and he just remembered his best friend and mentor, Mickey, his old trainer, and it was a very heart-wrenching, touching moment. And I think it was that and the scene where after they had come there, the boxer Tommy the Machine Gun had taken off in his car with his girlfriend. She was sorry, don't know what he saw in her, but anyway, they took off, and he basically Tommy said to Rocky that he was basically a loser, and basically he was a loser, and then took off, and he got upset. His wife came out, and they had a very touching moment there. The family was starting to be pulled apart because of, Rocky had put this guy into his family above his son, and she just made him aware of that, and they were the two main scenes for me that made the movie watchable. It kept me interested, because apart from those two scenes, I wouldn't have watched it. So I'll send it back to my son, and thanks very much.